Hello, and welcome to this session on productivity hacks in SYSPRO. This set of webinar series is set up to introduce you to quick tips and quick things that you wouldn't necessarily cover in a training session or perhaps in tutorials. And it's a way to introduce you to areas where you can go to learn more to help yourself. And that's the first session. Where do you go to help yourself and learn more about SYSPRO? My name's Darshini Shah, and I'm the K3 SYSPRO Product Manager. Welcome to today's session. SYSPRO has a rich set of online resources that are available to you, and the goal for today's session is to introduce you to those resources, quick pointers so you can go and investigate and learn to help yourself. We're going to wrap up this session with some quick tips that you have within SYSPRO, not just to go to help yourself and your users become more productive with information at their fingertips, but also things you may want to look at if you're troubleshooting. So let's start by looking at the online resources available. The rich ecosystem that's available to you from SYSPRO is available for free. You do, however, have to register for some of these resources. The registration is required with your work email address, and once you register, that same email address and login details can be used across multiple resources. The first thing I want to introduce you to is called the SYSPRO InfoZone. As the name implies, it's an area with information about SYSPRO. This is where I go if I want to know more about different product modules available within SYSPRO, improvements that have been added into SYSPRO over time across multiple versions, as well as some technical documentation. I may be someone that's brand new to SYSPRO. Where do I go to find out more information? This is usually my first stop shop. And what you'll notice is I've added a URL for you at the bottom of this particular section, infozone.syspro.com. Now, the InfoZone focuses on a lot of information associated with product. What we wanted to do was highlight and spend a little bit of time focusing just on the latest release. And as a result of that, from the InfoZone, what we've also launched is a microsite focusing on SYSPRO's latest version, SYSPRO 8. This is where we've pulled together everything that is available for you so that it's easy to access and find. Everything SYSPRO 8 related, from functionality videos on what's new, access to a test environment if you're not quite ready to upgrade but you still want to see the look and feel, you're in the process of upgrading your system, getting your ducks in a row. It's a way for you to play with what the new system might look like. That's demo information loaded on the system as well, but it gives you a sense. There are also technical guides available, and I'll show you how to access that quickly from the InfoZone. The third online resource I want to focus on is the SYSPRO Learning Channel. This is an online learning platform that is rich and pulls together all of the user guides, training videos, tutorials, as well as access to certification. So let's dig in and start taking a look at first the InfoZone. So if you take a look at my screen, what you'll notice is I'm on a web browser. Any web browser you choose will be available. And I've logged on to infozone.syspro.com as a user because you'll notice I have a sign out option. Now I'm currently logged in as an end user, as a customer. And what you'll notice is a list of banners available for me across the top. If I'm currently on SYSPRO 7, I can see everything that was new in SYSPRO 7 when it was first introduced, maybe some updates and changes that were available in SYSPRO 7. I might be interested just in the field sizes that were changed because I may be looking at migrating some reports. What are the enhancements that were released? And this is just a consolidated document of all of the enhancements that are available. Now with 7, there's 7 as well as update 1. So you'll notice 2 links. What I want to focus on a little bit here is the specialist area. The specialist area is where you have access to information tied specifically to your role. You may be new to SYSPRO, you may be a system administrator, and you can drill in to access details on there. If you're a developer, you're looking to extend SYSPRO, where you may be integrating to a third-party application, maybe a quality system. You may be going ahead and having your machines talk to SYSPRO. The best way to do that is a business object, our connected services layer, or what you might also call an API layer. In SYSPRO speak, it's E.net, and we call them business objects, individual programs that give you functionality to talk to. So if, for example, you've got a job with multiple operations that a machine needs to go ahead and interact with, the machine needs to know how many operations they're setting up in SYSPRO, and you've got a business object that will show you and tell the machine all that information. If you wanted to know the specific details of what you could interact with, the Business Object Library is a fantastic way of accessing that information. And what you'll notice when you drill into the library is it also gives you a quick introduction of what a business object is. But what I find rich at the bottom is each individual object that's available. And if I drill in to say supplier related information, I can actually launch and see all of the different values that I have available within the actual business object itself, high level and additional document links as well. So some nice rich information for the developers that are available from a business object library perspective. As I promised, from here, we can also access the SYSPRO 8 microsite. This is where I have information, everything related to the latest version. You may already be on SYSPRO 8, and this is probably where you've gone to take a look at the information first. You can see all of the details around the product release, feature highlights, the release schedule, what's coming down the road. The community preview is where you can access an environment that's been set up with demo data for you to have a look and play and feel. You may currently be on a slightly older version of SYSPRO 8, but this has the latest. It has 2020 R1 loaded on there. So you may want to look and access this environment to see what's new when you're ready to go ahead and move on to the latest release. What you also have access to here is a rich resource library of feature demos that may show you some new functionality and how you navigate it. White papers that may be of interest to you, just to get into details around what else is going on in the world. So that's our second resource. This is SYSPRO 8 microsite. Coming back to the InfoZone, from here, my third link I want to show you is the SYSPRO Learning channel. When I access my SYSPRO Learning channel, what it does is it automatically logs me in as that customer that I have. So I've logged in as my SLC user, and the first thing I want to point out to you, and what I would highly recommend, is start by watching the video. It gives you 8 great tips on how to use the Learning channel and the content available. So jump back to the first and access that video. Now, the Learning channel is tied to you specifically as a user, not your colleague, not your boss. This is everything that you are accessing from a training perspective. There's a rich set of information. I can probably spend about an hour talking just about the Learning channel. However, I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips on how to navigate the Learning channel. What I find easiest is actually using the search based on what I'm interested in navigating. Now, if my role today is based on manufacturing, I may be interested in looking for all things manufacturing. And if I type that in the search window and hit enter, what you'll notice is a list of information that becomes available to me related to manufacturing. There are courses. Courses are a combination of all of the content available for us online tied together based on the topic. And what you have as you're going through the learning is also assessments to make sure that we're understanding what we've learned earlier, as you would from any e-learning system, summaries, as well as access to material linked to this particular topic so you can read more into it. So that's where I find courses really useful. Now, the Learning channel, there are 2 types of content. There's content that's available for you when you're registered for free, but there is also some content that is available on a pay-as-you-go. So what you'll notice is the manufacturing operations management overview is available for you to enroll, which means it's available for free, but details and courses on a planners is available for you to buy. Now, between now and May 31st, 2020, considering the situation in the world, what SYSPRO has decided to do is actually make the Learning channel available for free. You should have received an email already from your account manager with a coupon code to allow you to access the Learning channel and content available in here. You can register for as much as you like, as long as you complete that between now and May 31st, 2020. It will be available because I know there's a lot of people that are looking and focusing on education with a little bit more time on their hands. As they're looking to improve the systems, this is a great time to leverage content to be able to go ahead and be prepared for when we're back at it and find that we have less time on our hands. So we talked a little bit about the content that's available for courses. When I scroll down, there are also programs. And this is just basically multiple e-learning courses available in a structured view. Then we've got training guides. These are typically PDF guides that are available to us. They tend to be longer, probably in the 60s, 70s, hundreds of pages long. They get into specific details on, say, for example, progressive scrap. I may be interested in learning more specifically just on that topic. There are also webinars that are available. There may be feature demos that are shorter than webinars. Webinars tend to be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour long. And what you'll notice is within the training guides, I only have 6 I can see on screen, but in fact, there may be more. So I can choose to view all at 25. If I scroll back up, I may know that I'm only interested in tutorials or training guides, and I can filter the criteria to just show me that information. May want to filter based on role, the subject area, or the version of SYSPRO that I'm currently on. When I drop down on version, what you'll notice is only 7 and 8 are available on the Learning Channel. That's because the SYSPRO Learning Channel was introduced in the life of SYSPRO 7. If you find yourself on an older version currently, there is still material available for you. However, in order to access that, you will have to come back to the InfoZone, which is where we started. In the InfoZone, what you'll notice is an area for past releases. And if you're currently sitting on SYSPRO 6 issue 10 SP2 and you're looking for some documentation, you can drill in directly from here. It won't be as rich as the material available on the Learning Channel, but there is still material available. Of course, we find most of the customers are currently on 7 and 8, so you'll find the Learning Channel a nice, rich resource for that. So we've looked at some of the online resources and hopefully a good tip for you to start digging into this. The other area that's available for you for free, in this case, no registration required, is the SYSPRO blog. I find the blog really useful because this is where SYSPRO experts globally share their thoughts around what's happening in the world today, specifically focusing on what's happening in the world in and around manufacturing, distribution, and of course, ERP. So have a look, and it gives you some really good insight into what SYSPRO is working on as well. K3 specifically has resources that are UK specific. The first thing I want to focus on is a resource center, and that's really our library of multimedia, brochures, white papers, even newsletters. If you've maybe recently joined the SYSPRO community, you want to access older newsletters, you can go ahead and take a look at that. One of the things that when I talk to customers, they tell me they're really interested in learning more about how others are using SYSPRO. And customer success stories, which you can access from the Resource Center, are a great way to access that. As always, our help desk is available to you 5 days a week. You can call them or email them. And the last resource I want to focus in this section from K3 is an advice center. Similar to the SYSPRO blog, this is actually an impartial advice center providing expert ERP advice. You've already invested in a rich ERP system, but if you're wanting to learn more about how others are leveraging it, the advice center is a good way and a good place for you to go to. So now I want to dig into SYSPRO. These are online resources we've just talked about. What's available for you within SYSPRO itself that you can go ahead and start using? F1 on your keyboard is available on the top bar, along with all of the other F keys. Within SYSPRO itself, F1 is a great way to go ahead and start accessing information. So if I go into SYSPRO itself, in your current installation, most of our customers are running 7, so I'm going to focus on that for now. If I click on F1, what you'll notice is help that's available for me. And this is available in your installation. You don't have to have access to online resources. I can see details on maybe system administration. I may want to have details on glossary. What are the terms that SYSPRO uses that may be slightly different than what you're used to? What are all of the things that are released that are new, all the enhancements and bug fixes since maybe the first release? What's new since the version that you're currently running on? And I can drill in and start seeing lots of detail. On the left-hand side, you may be responsible for going ahead and running through diagnostics. You may be focusing on customizing the look and feel, making it more easily accessible to your end users. Or you may just want to see more details specifically related to a particular program. Now you could, of course, access that directly from the help, or what I find really useful is if I launch a particular program and from within the program, I choose to hit F1, what you'll notice is the help actually automatically launches to that particular screen for that program. So it's context sensitive, which I find really useful. Within all of the help sections, what you'll notice is each tab gives you different sets of detail. So if I take a look at warehouse values, for example, and want to know more, that's where the information ties back from the program to the details on that particular screen. I may be interested in searching for something specific, and I can, of course, use the context-sensitive help to show me what's on hand, for example. And as I start typing, you'll see information become highlighted. As I add more, it will highlight more. Now, one thing to be mindful of is when you're searching, it is looking only at the page that you're currently looking at. As I said, you're tabbing across, and as you're tabbing, you're seeing multiple sets of information. So if you wanted to search across everything in this program, what I would do is choose to show as a single file where it shows me help for every single pane across this particular program. And now I can start searching across all of the tabs, and you'll see a lot more values highlighted across here. So just a little quick tip that we want to go ahead and drill into for you. Now, this is the help that's available for me from within SYSPRO when I click on F1. What you may want to do is add that help in specifically for the end user. And to do that, I can choose if I have permissions to type and add in the application help. That shows me inventory query specific help, and I can drill in as an end user. That's generic help. What if you wanted to add in some text specifically for a new user that's joined in? What you could do is by right-clicking on a field, again, if you have permission to tailor, go to your field properties, and you'll notice a help panel where I can add in details associated with what is important to my business. And you'll notice that I've already taken care of that for you. So enter a SKU number, showing the help text, and when I highlight, it will show me text associated with that field. Setting focus away will remove it. So all of a sudden, we've had some rich information that's available, not just generic help related to this program, but specific help related to my business. That's the help that I have available from within SYSPRO. So what you'll notice is if I wanted to have help in SYSPRO, I've added that into SYSPRO programs. I just did it in one inventory query. You can do that in a multitude of other programs. Now, the one thing I also wanted to go through with you is SYSPRO 8. I've just launched a separate installation of SYSPRO, which is SYSPRO 8. And when I go ahead and click on the help or F1 associated with SYSPRO 8, and I'll do that now, what you'll notice is that the help is actually being revamped. What we've gone ahead and done is reimagined the help to make it even more user-friendly. So if I go ahead and launch the help associated with this, and apologies, I'm just trying to click on that, there we go. What we'll notice is it's a slightly different landing page where I can drill in and see details specifically related to my role. Now, if I take a look at administration, for example, and I'm looking at, oh, that's what happens when you click on help multiple times. So if I go ahead and drill into my company setup configuration, what you'll notice is there's details that now drills in to give you slightly more user-sensitive information. It's just easier to navigate. The one final thing I want to show you is a new introduction of Avanti. SYSPRO Avanti is SYSPRO's first web interface that was launched with the introduction of SYSPRO 8. Within Avanti itself, what you can do is access SYSPRO within a web browser. So what you'll notice is I've got a home menu here with access to all of the different programs that I have within SYSPRO. Not every program is currently available in SYSPRO, but we're anticipating by the end of this year, we will have all of the programs available. What we did from a help perspective is from within the programs, some of the programs we think are going to be more frequently used and may have perhaps slightly newer users navigating through them. We've added in the concept of a tour. So if you wanted to go ahead and engage with a help tour, it will guide the user through various elements of the program and how they need to be interacting with them. So that I think is really nice and useful from an Avanti perspective. So we've talked about 3 different areas of help. F1 just to launch it, adding in help specifically into the SYSPRO program, and within Avanti, launching a tour. You may be asked where you are in SYSPRO. And in order to launch that, what you want to do is identify what the program is. You may want to drill in and get a little bit of information about what that program is. This is for when you're troubleshooting. You may be engaged with help desk asking you for the version of that program. So the keyboard shortcut I want to introduce you to is called Shift F7. So if I come back into my inventory query program, and if I click on the Shift key, hold that down and click on F7 on my keyboard, what you'll notice is a program open up called System Information. This System Information program gives me the name of the program itself, as well as the version. I'm currently running 7, version 149. Tells me details about who's currently logged in, what the language is, the company information, system and printer information that's associated with this particular client install, as well as environment information. So some nice, rich information available from here. What I can also do is drill into all of the installed updates. The installed updates is a quick way for me to go ahead and take a look to see all of the different ports, if you're in 7, or the release information that's available to me. And within that, I can drill in to see all of the changes made across that particular port. So quick glance of what it is that I've got, but I can also drill into another element, which is users. What I can choose to do is see all of the current users logged into SYSPRO. And what you'll see is a program pop up that tells me across different companies who the users are. If you're an administrator, you actually have the ability to action from here. You can log out everyone from that particular company, or you can choose a specific user to log out. So if I choose to log out, it asks me and warns me. Now, I'm an administrator, I'm happy for them to be logged out. As I do that, what you'll notice is the processes that are currently running, it shows you all of the different processes. There may be a chance where I've actually, yesterday when I was running SYSPRO, run a process and didn't end it properly. So I've got a runaway process. I can choose to go ahead and end that from here. And if I do that, now I wouldn't do that without having sufficient permissions, but I can now go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup right from within the View Users program. What I can also do from this program is choose to see details. If I see details, it now tells me for this user all of the different programs that they currently have running within SYSPRO. I've got inventory query that I have open that I had launched earlier. And when I click on inventory query, what you'll notice is it's now populated all of the files used available to me here. This tells me that there are currently 22 files or database tables that are used by the inventory query program. This is really important for when you're looking maybe at where the information is stored for reporting purposes. You may be looking to integrate the solution and you're looking for a particular business object value as well. Where is that stored? What is that value that I'm expecting to see? And that's where the table names in SQL are available to you. So you now know that inventory query is pulling information from a number of different master tables, for example, if I filter on that. It's a nice, rich, easy way of accessing information about the data. So let's jump back. Let's take a look and see what we did. We identified where am I by using Shift F7, and from there we have a rich set of information available from program versions all the way through to the current user and company, the environment details, as well as the installed updates and details on that, as well as who are the users currently logged in. From there, we dug into the users. And when we did that, we saw unknown processes, what I didn't focus on and show you, but you can also see SQL blocking details if there are any issues, current users that are logged in, the detailed program access per user, as well as files and tables that are used by that particular program. Well, that's great. I now know that program actually uses 22 files, but what if I wanted to see the information in there? Where is my data? I can look in SQL, but what I want to do is show you a really quick tip for showing you a data dictionary. So if I wanted to look at the inventory master details, what I can do is launch a program called the Data Dictionary Viewer. The program name is DDS BFI, which you can launch, or it's also available for you under the administration of your program list. This shows you every single program that is available or every single table that SYSPRO uses, be it in SQL or ISAM. It tells you the table name and it gives you a description of it. Because it's a list view, I can now go ahead and filter and now drill into the inventory master that I was interested in. From here, I can look to see the data itself without having to go to the SQL tables. So be mindful, you want to limit access to this program only to users who you believe should have access to it. I can see all of the details that are available to me in this particular table, as well as all of the columns that are being populated with this information. And you can see this particular table is actually quite a rich, robust table. So all my SKUs are available, as well as information about my pricing method, for example. So this is a quick way of accessing the information. This is view only. You're not changing any of the information here. What you can also do is take a look in table properties at just specific information about all of the columns. So as I said, there's a rich set of information in the inventory master. There are 133 columns. You can see the column name, the description, the data type, particularly useful again if you are reporting on this table, and what sequence. So I know that the description follows the stock code. But we looked at pricing method, and the value stored against the pricing method was C. That doesn't really mean much to me as a human being. I'm not quite sure what that is. So what you also have the ability to do from the data dictionary is for certain fields, right-click and drill in to see the properties. And when I choose to do that, what it tells me is for that pricing method, which I know is one character, I have three possible values, C, D, and Q. And when it's set to C, my pricing method is set to coded, D is discount, Q is quantity break. So now I know that whenever I look at a particular stock code with a price code of C, it's always going to be coded. Then I know what I can do with it from a reporting standpoint. Some nice quick tips for you in and around drilling into data without perhaps looking at SQL, and also a way for you to now look a little bit at the table schemas for various programs within SYSPRO. So when I looked at where's my data, we had the SYSPRO data dictionary, drill in to actually see the data, but additional information that's helpful for report writing. So what we've covered so far is all of the online resources available to us from SYSPRO as well as K3. We've looked a little bit at how you can access just simple help text specifically related to programs or adding in business-related help for your users. We've looked at drilling into program information for troubleshooting and access to rich environmental information and update details. We've also looked to see how you can now drill in to see all of the users logged into your system, what programs they're accessing, what files are being used by those programs, any SQL locking details. And we've looked to see where the information is stored and drilling into that to now start making some sensible decisions when it comes to reporting. That concludes this session on where to go to help yourself. We've run a little bit longer, but hopefully you found it really useful and you can take some of these tips and apply them to your own business. Thank you for joining us today. Have a fantastic rest of your day.